What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're gonna start a new series, 5 dry flies never to leave home without, and how I tie those. Since it's baetis season right now, I figured it would be fun to kick this off with a little blue winged olive parachute. Simple one, works really well for me, and it's pretty fun to tie. So let's give it a go. Alright guys, so in the Renzetti, I'm starting off with a freshwater 501 from Arix. We're gonna do a 16 this time. Probably my go-to size on this would be an 18, but just for the purpose of being able to see the fly on camera, I'm gonna go with the 16, and it'll probably fish just fine. So springtime baetis generally are a little bit bigger than the ones that come through in the fall. So I'll start some thread. I've got brown Vivus, and you could use olive or whatever color, black, be fine. And I wanted to leave this tag end on, but out of habit, I cut it off. So let's just tie it back on. So there we go. Little bit of an underbody, and then we're going to use some light blue dun microfibets. I want 2 of these. You could do 3 if you want and split them, but baetis, I think, technically usually only have 2 tails, and I'm gonna measure those about the length of the body. And if you're gonna err on the side of short or long, I would say go long a little bit. These will help kind of stabilize the body as it's floating along and won't hurt anything. So now I'm gonna take my thumbnail and push on these and kind of start splitting them, and then we're gonna take that piece of thread, pull it over, and tie it down just like so, and then we'll cut these. Then you should have a nice split little tail, something like that. So there we go. Now we're gonna make a little dubbing loop. We're gonna kind of use a little rope method to dub this body here. So I'm gonna make a dubbing loop, close that dubbing loop off, and tie back right here. I'm gonna get my dubbing twister in, and I'm gonna come in with some olive dubbing. And you want to dub on a small little bug like this. You want to dub nice and tight, small amount. So just little bits at a time. And get it on in there nice and tight. There we go. And basically what I've done is just dubbed one side of this, and now I'm gonna spin that up like if you were doing a dubbing loop. And what that'll do is make a really cool little rope. We'll move forward, and we'll just take, and we don't want to mess up our tail. There we go. And we'll just take this little roped section. What's cool about this is it'll make your dubbing a tad more durable. It'll also just kind of hint at segmentation on the body. So there we go. And tie that off good and tight. And we're not really totally done dubbing yet, but we need to build our parachute post now. So I'm gonna advance my thread to the eye and then back. And I'm gonna use some kind of gray dun color EP trigger point fibers. Pull off a little bit. And then we'll bring these underneath our thread to set them right on top there. Whoops. And then we can take 2 tight wraps, pull them up, couple wraps in front, and then we'll just start posting this. Whoops. You definitely want to make the base of the post good and sturdy. And we want to go up about there. Be fine. Take a couple wraps in front to save our work. And then we need to choose a hackle. So I'm going to use this light tan dun cape. It's cool stuff. A few years ago, Fly Fish Food had just like a million of these in stock. I picked one up and it's cool. It's just like a nice kind of subtle tan gray color. Let's make sure that we like the size on this feather. It's maybe a little small actually. So I'll set that one aside. See if we can find a little bit better one. I like the way this one looks. Yeah, that's perfect. So, and it's long enough. We'd probably get a couple flies out of it, which is nice. And I'm gonna take and strip back from the stem. And I'm gonna lay this in with the kind of brighter side facing the post, because I want, in the end, the colorful side pointing down. And I know there's kind of a lot of people that like to argue about which is the right way to do that. That's the way I do it. And then I'll take that little stem piece. Sometimes if I leave it long enough, I can just tie it in there, but we'll trim this one. All right, so our parachute assembly is pretty much set in stone there. Now all we need is to dub this thorax really quick. So just more of that same dubbing. You could mix up the color and go gray or brown or something if you wanted to give it a little contrast. But I'm just gonna keep it fairly uniform. Build this little rope here. Should be plenty. And we're just gonna take some wraps in front and behind and end with a wrap around the post, just like so. Now, we're gonna start wrapping our hackle. And I don't know, 4 or 5 wraps is probably plenty. We'll catch that with 2 wraps. Make it 3. And then we'll trim our parachute post. come in here and trim our hackle. Maybe. There we go. So there we go. Now to finish this off, I actually have a little super glue trick that I like to use. You could whip finish here or whatever, but what I like to do is just put a few little dabs of super glue on the thread. As you can see, those are pretty small. And then I'll come in and take 2 full wraps, and then I'll tilt it this way and let gravity kind of pull that a little bit tight. Give that super glue about 20 or 30 seconds to dry a little bit, and then I'll just snip that free. No whip finish necessary. Make sure my tails are pointed the way I want, and there you go. That'll, you know, that super glue will set until you go to fish this thing, which probably not gonna fish it the same day. You might, but that's that. A little baetis parachute. Pretty simple to tie and catches fish. I catch fish on the Provo with it. I caught a little cut bow in a little creek just south of my house here in Utah a few days ago, or yesterday, on one. So it's a good fly, works. Kind of fun that we're starting to get kind of into the dry fly season and into the hatches, so I think this little series over the next few weeks will be appropriate. I also am hoping to have a fishing video coming out this week too, so stay tuned for that. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. See ya.